So this is the first of three sort of hand alternating exercises that involve using eighth notes, eighth note triplet, and sixteenths. Okay, so we're going to deal with the eighths and the eighth note triplet first. So what I like to do generally is, first of all, it's a really good way to sort of work on your hand-to-hand coordination as well, as you'll see in a second. The idea behind the exercise is to play eighth notes with one hand while you're playing the eighth note triplet in the other hand. Okay, and the idea is to keep your hands, relatively the same. You want to keep consistent time between both hands, and just work slow. And it's just a really good way to get your wrist happening. So this particular one is generally more designed to just get the wrist warmed up. There's no need to go crazy with the speed on this one. It's just a cool warm up that you can do. And some of you might find it a little challenging, but if it's not challenging, then what's the point, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play eighth notes with one hand. We're going to play the eighth note triplet with the other hand. And we're going to alternate back and forth, okay? And I generally like to do a 2-bar count to switch back and forth between each hand. But basically, this is what it is, okay? Forget both hands going at the same time. And I'm sort of trying to work it from the wrist, okay? And it's cool because I can take a look at both of my hands and make sure that they're doing relatively the same thing. I like to sort of create kind of a mirror image between both of my hands, just to make sure that there's no weak one happening. And if there is, I can look at them and sort of correct it. So here's what we're going to do. Right now we're playing both hands, eighth notes. We're going to flip back and forth between the eighth note triplet, starting with the right hand, and a 2-bar flip. Okay? So it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So like I said, there's no need to go crazy with speed on this one. It's just a hand warm up. But if you want to increase your speed, you totally can. It's almost good to work your speed up a little bit. Okay? But it's just a warm up. It's just a cool little thing that I like to do before I hop on stage. So that's the first one. The second exercise I like to do is the same thing, except we're going to be working with 16th notes instead of the eighth note triplet. We're still going to be playing eighths with one hand, but with the other hand, we're going to be playing 16ths. And this one is strictly a finger exercise. This one actually is good to really work on getting your speed up, because the faster that you can go and still maintain control, the better off you're going to be, okay? So this is a really cool one to, again, sort of get your fingers in shape. It's probably my favorite of the three that I'm going to show you. It's just fun to do. So, same idea, okay? We're going to do eighths with one hand, 16ths with the other. So that's our tempo. We're going to flip it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 1, 2. Okay, so again, this is strictly a finger exercise, okay? So what I'm trying to do is I'm locking my wrist in place, and I'm going to try to use 100% fingers with this. And I'm just sort of using these back 3 fingers here to sort of, push the butt end of that stick up. I'm staying really relaxed. My elbows are in, I'm really comfortable. Okay, so there's very little wrist movement there. I'm trying to make it all finger. And like I said, this one is really good. If you want to work with a click, highly recommended. I don't have one here, but that's okay. But this one is really, really good for getting the fingers in shape. This is my favorite sort of backstage warm-up exercise to do. It really gets your fingers in shape pretty nice. Now this last exercise I'm going to show you is really cool because it combines the first 2 in one exercise. Okay? And the idea behind this is to practice going from wrist to finger. Okay? So for the wrist, when you're playing the 8-note triplet, you want to keep your wrist nice and loose, okay, to play the triplet. And then when you go to play the 16th, you want to lock that wrist up and just use a finger. Okay? So it goes like this. We're going to go from the triplet to the 16th in the right hand, and then flip it, do the triplet to the 16th in the left hand. Okay? And that looks like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wrist, finger. Loose, lock. Loose, lock. Cool. Okay. So that one is really effective to get both your wrists and your fingers in shape. Really cool warm up. And when you work it up to speed, looks like this. 1, 2, 3, Boom.